Every child looked up at the stars with wonder, knowing that they were not just distant lights but guardians of hope, connected to a legacy that spanned the cosmos. As new star keepers took their place, the cycle continued, ensuring that the light of the stars would shine forever, guiding all those who dare to dream and reminding them of the strength that lies within unity and love. As the legacy of the Star Keepers spread, new leaders emerged from the various worlds, each bringing their unique strengths and perspectives. These leaders formed a new assembly called the Galactic Coalition, aimed at fostering cooperation and understanding among all beings of the universe. Their first meeting was held beneath the vast canopy of stars, where they shared stories of triumph and struggle, learning from each other's experiences. During one such gathering, a young leader named Olira from the planet Serenadia stood to address the coalition. The light of the stars has guided us, but we must also prepare for the challenges that lie ahead. Our unity is our greatest strength, but we must also nurture the next generation of guardians. Lyra proposed the establishment of the Star Academy, a place where young beings could learn about the stars, the balance of light and dark, and the importance of unity. The coalition members agreed wholeheartedly, inspired by Lyra's vision. The Star Academy was built on the Celestial Islands, where the energy of the heart of the cosmos could be felt strongest. Young beings from across the galaxy gathered, eager to learn and grow. The Academy was not just a school, it was a sanctuary where the spirit of cooperation flourished. Lyra, alongside seasoned starkeepers, designed a curriculum that included lessons on astronomy, cosmic history, and the arts of diplomacy and compassion. The Academy encouraged students to explore their own unique gifts while fostering a deep connection to the stars. As the students learned, they also engaged in hands-on experiences, helping to care for the celestial islands and participating in rituals to honor the stars. They formed friendships that transcended their differences, united by their shared goal of becoming guardians of the light. Years passed, and the first class of the Star Academy graduated. These young guardians were not only skilled in their studies, but also embodied the values of compassion, teamwork, and courage. The graduation ceremony took place under the brightest constellation, the Phoenix, which symbolized rebirth and renewal. Lyra stood before the gathered crowd, beaming with pride. Today, we celebrate not just your achievements, but the light you will carry into the universe. Each of you holds the potential to be a beacon of hope, just as the stars are for us. As the students received their stardust-imbued insignias, a sense of purpose filled the air. They had been trained to face challenges, to defend the light, and to inspire others to follow in their footsteps. Just as the Academy was thriving, a new darkness began to loom. Strange disturbances spread through the cosmos, stars flickering, planets experiencing unnatural chaos, and whispers of a familiar darkness reaching even the farthest corners of the universe. The Starkeepers sensed that Nox had not been defeated. Instead, it had transformed and was gathering strength in the shadows. A council meeting was called, and the leaders of the Galactic Coalition gathered to discuss the troubling signs. Orion's spirit, still felt by many, guided them. We must not let fear dictate our actions. The light we have cultivated must shine brighter than ever. We need to prepare for whatever is coming. With the threat of Nox looming, the Galactic Coalition mobilized its resources. Lyra took charge of rallying the newly graduated Starkeepers, emphasizing the need for vigilance and training. They would face Nox together, drawing on the lessons of the past and the strength of their bonds. The Coalition sent scouts across the universe, gathering intelligence about the disturbances. As the reports poured in, it became clear that Nox was trying to turn the very essence of the stars against them, seeking to drain their light and amplify the darkness. The Starkeepers honed their skills, engaging in training exercises that pushed them to their limits. They practiced unity drills, learned to channel their energy as one, and studied the ancient texts that spoke of confronting darkness. As soon as Lilia touched the heart of the first star, she felt a surge of energy coursing through her body. The bracelet on her wrist began to glow, and one by one the stars returned to the night sky. The kingdom of stars was saved, and the shadow creatures vanished into the darkness from which they came. Lilia and Arin returned to the kingdom as heroes. The people cheered, and Lilia knew that she had fulfilled her destiny. Not only had she saved the stars, but she had also discovered a strength within herself she never knew she had. That night, Lilia stood once again on her castle balcony, gazing up at the stars. They were brighter than ever, filling the sky with their comforting glow. Aaron stood beside her, now a knight restored to his honor. As Lilia looked up, she knew that the stars would always be safe as long as there were those who believed in their light, and that her journey had only just begun. For she had learned that the true power of the stars was not in their light, but in the hope and courage they inspired in those who dared to reach for them. As the days passed and peace returned to the kingdom of stars, Lilia found herself wondering about the fate of the other fallen stars. The heart of the first star had restored the light to the skies, but something still felt incomplete. One evening, as she stood gazing at the stars, a faint flicker caught her eye. It was a star, barely glowing, hidden deep within the night sky. Lilia's heart sank. There was still one star that had not been restored. She couldn't let it go. Despite all she had done, this last star called to her, as if it held a secret that only she could unlock. Determined to uncover the mystery, she called upon Arin and set out on one final journey. The stars guided them to a forgotten land at the edge of the world, where the winds whispered ancient stories and the ground glowed faintly beneath their feet. There, hidden in a valley surrounded by towering cliffs, lay the Star Temple, an ancient place of power, long abandoned by time. Inside the temple, the air was cool and heavy with the scent of age. The walls were etched with carvings of the stars and constellations, telling stories of long-forgotten kingdoms and heroes who once protected the balance of the universe. At the center of the temple, Lilia found a pedestal, and on it rested a small, dimly glowing stone. It was the lost star, the last of the fallen stars. But something was different about this star. It was not just dim, it was dying. Lilia touched the stone, and immediately a vision filled her mind. She saw the star's true nature. It was the star of sacrifice. Long ago, it had given up its own light to protect the kingdom from a great darkness. In doing so, it had saved the world, but it had also sealed its own fate. It could never shine as brightly as the others again. Tears filled Lilia's eyes. This star had given everything for the kingdom, yet it was now forgotten, left to fade away. She knew she couldn't let that happen, but as she stood there, the star whispered to her. Its voice was soft and ancient, telling her that it didn't regret its sacrifice. It had done what was necessary to preserve the balance of the universe. All it asked for now was to be remembered. Lilia realized that sometimes the greatest lights are those that burn the shortest, and their legacy is not in their brightness, but in the lives they touch. Lilia took the Star of Sacrifice in her hands and carried it outside the temple. She climbed to the highest peak in the valley, where the night sky stretched endlessly before her. With a deep breath, she raised the star to the heavens and whispered, "You will never be forgotten." In that moment, the Star of Sacrifice pulsed with one final burst of light. It was not as bright as the others, but it was warm and steady, a beacon of hope for those who understood its story. The star ascended to the sky, taking its rightful place among the constellations, where it would shine forever, a symbol of courage and selflessness. When Lilia and Aaron returned to the kingdom of stars, they found that the people were no longer just celebrating the return of the stars. They had begun telling stories of the Star of Sacrifice, passing down its legacy from generation to generation. The star became a symbol of hope, inspiring people to act with kindness, bravery, and selflessness, just as it had done. Lilia knew that her journey was complete. The stars were safe, but more than that, the people of her kingdom had found a new light within themselves, one that could never fade, no matter how dark the night became. From that day forward, the kingdom of stars shone brighter than ever, not just because of the stars in the sky, but because of the hearts of its people, who now understood the true meaning of sacrifice and love. And every night, as Lilia stood on her balcony, she looked up at the star of sacrifice and smiled, knowing that its light would guide her people for generations to come. Years passed, and Lilia grew into a wise and beloved queen. The kingdom of stars flourished under her reign, as she ruled with kindness and wisdom, always guided by the lessons she had learned on her journey. The people looked to her as not just a ruler, but as a protector of the stars and the balance they represented. The Star of Sacrifice became a symbol of the kingdom, and every year a festival was held in its honor. During this festival, the people lit lanterns and sent them into the sky to remind themselves of the importance of selflessness and the power of love. But as the kingdom grew, so did new challenges. Lilia knew that peace could not last forever, and that there were still forces in the world that sought to disrupt the balance she had fought so hard to protect. One night, as she gazed at the stars, she saw a faint flicker at the edge of the sky. It was different from the falling stars she had seen in her youth. It was a warning. A new threat was rising, one that came not from the darkness outside, but from within the hearts of her people. Word began to spread of a new power in the kingdom, a force that could give people the ability to control the stars themselves. Some believed it was a gift from the gods, but Lilia knew better. This power was not a gift, but a curse. The power of the stars had always been meant for balance, not control. But there were those in the kingdom who sought to use it for their own gain. Greed and ambition began to spread, like a shadow creeping across the land. Lilia, now older and wiser, knew she had to act before this new force tore her kingdom apart. She called upon Aaron, now a trusted general, and together they set out to uncover the source of this new power. Their journey led them deep into the heart of the kingdom, to a hidden valley where a powerful sorcerer had discovered a way to harness the star's energy. This sorcerer, driven by ambition, had found a way to drain the stars of their power, turning them into tools for his own use. Lilia and Aaron confronted the sorcerer in his dark fortress, a place where the light of the stars barely reached. The sorcerer, a man named Keldar, had grown powerful, feeding off the energy of the stars he had stolen. "You don't understand, Queen Lilia," Keldar said, his voice echoing in the dim chamber. "The stars are wasted in the sky. Their power should be used to shape the world, to give those with vision the strength to rule." Lilia shook her head. "The stars were never meant to be controlled. Their power is for all, not for the greed of one man. You are corrupting the very essence of the universe." Keldar laughed, his eyes glowing with the stolen power. "You are a fool clinging to old ways. The future belongs to those who seize it." The battle that followed was fierce. Keldar unleashed waves of dark magic, fueled by the energy of the stars he had drained. Aaron fought valiantly by Lilia's side, but it was clear that Keldar's power was too great for them to defeat through strength alone. In a moment of desperation, Lilia remembered the Star of Sacrifice. She called upon its power, knowing that it had once saved the kingdom from darkness. The star responded to her call, and its light filled the chamber, driving back Keldar's magic. But to truly stop him, Lilia knew what she had to do. She would have to give up something precious, her own connection to the stars. With the Star of Sacrifice glowing in her hand, Lilia made her choice. She reached deep within herself, calling upon the ancient magic that connected her to the stars. She had always been their protector, but now she would have to give up that connection to restore the balance. As she released her bond with the stars, the stolen energy that Keldar had harnessed began to unravel. The stars were free once more, and their light returned to the sky, brighter and purer than ever. But Lilia felt the cost of her decision. She was no longer bound to the stars as she had been before. The connection that had guided her throughout her life was gone. She had given up her own power to save her kingdom. Keldar, now powerless, fell to his knees. "What have you done?" he whispered, his voice hollow. "I did what needed to be done," Lilia said softly. "The stars do not belong to any one person. They are meant to shine for all." With the defeat of Keldar, the kingdom was saved, but Lilia's sacrifice had changed everything. No longer tied to the stars, she felt a sense of loss, but also a sense of peace. She had fulfilled her destiny, and her people were safe. In the years that followed, Lilia continued to rule with wisdom and compassion, even without the power of the stars. The people of the Kingdom of Stars honored her sacrifice, and her legacy grew even stronger. The festival of the Star of Sacrifice became the most important event in the kingdom, a reminder to all that the greatest power lies not in strength, but in the willingness to give of oneself for the greater good. And though Lilia could no longer feel the stars as she once had, she knew they were watching over her, just as they watched over all who believed in their light. Years passed and the kingdom of stars continued to flourish. Lilia had grown older, her once golden hair now streaked with silver, but her heart remained as steadfast and bright as ever. Though she no longer had her special connection to the stars, she never lost her love for them, and every night she would stand on her balcony, watching their eternal dance across the sky. One evening, as she gazed up at the stars, she felt a strange sensation, a warmth that filled her chest, unlike anything she had felt in years. The stars seemed to shimmer in response, their light growing more vibrant, as if they were trying to speak to her. That night, Lilia had a dream, but it was no ordinary dream. She found herself standing in a vast, starry expanse, the sky around her filled with countless twinkling lights. The stars seemed closer, almost within reach, and among them, a familiar voice spoke. "Lilia, Queen of Stars, your journey is not yet over." Lilia looked around, her heart racing. "Who are you?" she called out. "Why have you brought me here?" From the depths of the starlit sky, a figure appeared, an ethereal being made of stardust, glowing with a gentle light. It was the spirit of the first star, the one whose heart she had restored so many years ago. "You have given much to the stars and they have watched over you, but the time has come for a new chapter in the story of the stars in your kingdom." Lilia listened intently, feeling a deep connection to this star spirit, as if it had been guiding her all along. The star spirit extended a hand, and as Lilia took it, they soared through the starry expanse, moving faster than she had ever thought possible. Below them, she saw visions of her kingdom, her people, and the stars that protected them. "There is a prophecy," the spirit said, its voice soft but powerful. "A time will come when the stars will begin to fade once more, but this time it will not be because of darkness or greed. The stars will pass their light to a new generation, one that must learn to carry their legacy forward." Lilia's heart ached. "Will my kingdom fall into danger again?" The spirit shook its head. "Not if you help them prepare. You have already given them hope, courage, and wisdom. Now they must learn to become the protectors of the stars themselves." Lilia understood. Her time as the Queen of Stars was drawing to an end, but she could still guide her people toward a future where they would no longer need her. The next generation would take up the mantle, and they would be the ones to keep the stars shining. When Lilia awoke, the dream lingered in her mind like a song she couldn't forget. She knew what she had to do. Gathering her advisors and the people of the kingdom, she announced her decision. It was time for a new era, one in which the people themselves would become the guardians of the stars. She called upon the brightest minds and the most courageous hearts in her kingdom, forming a council of star guardians. These guardians would learn the ancient ways of the stars, studying their patterns and protecting their light. They would pass down the knowledge that Lilia had gained on her journeys, ensuring that the kingdom would always be safe, even in her absence. Among the guardians was a young girl named Maya, whose curiosity and love for the stars reminded Lilia of herself as a child. Maya was bold, intelligent, and filled with wonder, and Lilia saw in her the future of the kingdom. As Maya knelt before her to take the oath of the star guardians, Lilia placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "The stars have chosen you, Maya. They will guide you as they once guided me." Maya looked up, her eyes filled with determination. "I won't let them down, Your Majesty.